Hey Kentucky, this is Matt Jones. Tonight, we'll talk about a Russian investment in a Kentucky company and a potential connection to Mitch McConnell. A UK basketball player makes his decision, and our first of our 2019 governor's candidate profiles. That's tonight on Hey Kentucky. Welcome everybody to Hey Kentucky, presented by Wendy's. Drew Franklin is here with me tonight. Drew, how are you?
I am fantastic, sir. Happy to be here.
There's a lot of stuff to get to, so we'll get started. We begin with a follow-up on last night's news about the Russian investment in Kentucky's Brady Industries in Greenup County. Now, some are raising questions about the decision of a company that was recently owned and connected by a Russian oligarch to invest $200 million in the struggling project. Now, Mitch McConnell recently was able to keep sanctions against the Russian investor from being reimposed after both houses of Congress were ready to do it. Joe Sonka of Insider Louisville reports that the Russian oligarch in question's businesses had previously donated $3.5 million to a political action committee that does support for Mitch McConnell over a span of 16 months. Now, you see all this put together. Drew, does it matter?
It's a little fishy. Are we supposed to believe McConnell helped this guy avoid sanctions and then he just magically decided Kentucky's a great place, I want to put my aluminum? It looks to me that there might be a little more to that.
Yeah, I think you got to be careful with the Brady connection because we don't know. But finding out that there's this guy, this Russian oligarch, who gave $3.5 million to Mitch McConnell and then sanctions that were supported by Republicans and Democrats came before him and he blocked them, that's shady to me. Is it not?
Yeah, it's not some wild conspiracy theory to wonder, all these things kind of link up. Very bizarre that they'd pick Kentucky.
It's a very simple question. Why did you block him? Especially from this dude who gave you this money. Now, another legal battle is brewing between Andy Beshear and Matt Bevin. Today, the Attorney General told the governor to rescind the subpoenas that were sent to multiple school boards regarding teachers who had sick-outs. Jefferson, Bullitt, Fayette, Madison, and Oldham counties have all been subpoenaed by the Kentucky Labor Cabinet about the state protests. Beshear calls the subpoenas a case of bullying and says the Labor Cabinet has 10 days to withdraw them or he'll go to court. It's another Beshear-Bevin battle. What do you think of this one?
I kind of like that he stand up for the teachers. I'm obviously team teacher, even though I did think they kind of did too many sick-outs, protested a couple too many times. But how much of this is politically motivated with the election coming right around the corner?
No doubt some of it clearly is. I mean, you can't go wrong in this state fighting Bevin right now because he's so unpopular. Jamie Comer was here last night and showed that. I don't understand why the Labor Cabinet is doing these subpoenas. They're saying, they and Bevin say, look, we're not going to retaliate against teachers. But if you're not going to retaliate, why do you need their names? I'm for Beshear here on this because I agree with you. The teachers took too many sick-outs. But they had a right to do it, and I think subpoenaing them, they're trying to punish them.
Yeah, with the subpoenas, what were you going to do? There was talk of up to $1,000 fine. You're not going to do that, so why are you subpoenaing these people? That's why I do like what Beshear did today. I also think a lot of it's him helping himself in the next couple months.
I'm sure that's true. Beshear and Bevin, this is like their 12th court case against each other. Now going to sports, the 2019 UK football team is shaping up following spring practices that culminated in the blue-white game on Friday. The team's going to try to move on without star running back Benny Snell, and it seems that they actually have some guys who can fit in. A.J. Rose, Cavassier Smoke, and Chris Rodriguez ran for 289 yards and 6 touchdowns in the spring game. But it was only part of an offensive explosion. The offense won 64-10. Drew, you were at the game. Great offense, bad defense. What do you think?
It's always hard to gauge these when they're playing against each other because one side has to look bad, but the defense looked very bad this year. I don't want to take away from the running backs because Terry still made some great throws. I think all three of those running backs are going to be good, but the cornerbacks specifically on defense, Kentucky's in trouble.
The spring game to me is always like are you a glass half full guy or a half empty guy? So we've had some years where the offense didn't look good, and so you could go, well, our defense is going to be good. What I learned for this spring game is our offense is going to be way ahead of our defense. And Drew, it was flipped last year. I think next year is going to be a completely different team than the one Mark Stoops just had.
And even though the defense was behind, Terry still made some very impressive throws, a couple deep throws that I don't think he would have made last year. The running backs are breaking tackles. Those three are my main takeaway going into the fall. I'm very excited about all three backs.
It's good to see that you're losing the greatest running back you've had in the school's history, and there are still guys who I think will be able to contribute. Now to some Kentucky basketball news. Today we learned that Tyler Hero and Keldon Johnson will both keep their names in the NBA draft. So next year's lineup, we now know. Ashton Hagans, Emmanuel Quickly back. We have to wait and see about E.J. Montgomery, Nick Richards. Grad transfer Nate Sestina is coming. But the big news is Tyler. The big news is Keldon. What do you think? Both guys, just a week after saying they were going to look into it, decided we're staying in the draft.
You know, as a fan, wishful thinking wanted me to see Keldon Johnson or Tyler Hero shock us all and come back. But really, I don't think anyone truly expected them to. Keldon Johnson has wanted to be a one and done since he committed. That's always been his plan. Hero played his way into top 20 talk. Both those guys had to go, and today they made it official.
Why do you think they, in a week, changed their mind? Like a week ago, they both said, we're going to wait and see where we're like. I mean, nothing's changed in a week. Do you think maybe they just wanted to do this initially and they were trying to please Cal?
Absolutely. I think this is 100% about, I don't want the fans to think, my first opportunity, I'm running away. I want them to at least think I'm considering it. Maybe they did consider it just a little bit, but those guys knew the moment the buzzer sounded, even before that they were leaving.
Let me just say, both these dudes are really good guys. They're both going to be on the show this week.
Yes.
They're good guys. I hope people root for the best for them. They played hard. They loved it here. I hope they both succeed.
And I agree with their decisions.
Me too. Now, up next on Hey Kentucky, what is it like to run for governor? Over the next 3 nights, we're profiling all the major Democratic candidates. And we start with Adam Edlin. Drew Franklin went on the road with Adam in a Who's Got the Tightest Suit contest. We'll show you right after this.